Well, welcome to another program of AQS Guild Buzz with Bonnie. We're coming to you from the AQS studio in Paducah, Kentucky, otherwise known as Quilt City, USA. And today, our guests are from the Sinnissippi Quilters Guild from Rockford, Illinois. Our guests today are Bonnie Hodina and Sylvia Vaughn. And welcome, ladies. I can't wait to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Well, let's start out and talk a little bit about the history of your guild.
We started in 1980, and it was a group of ladies that would sew together. There's about 35 of them, and at that time they decided they would join and create the Sinnissippi Quilters Guild. And from that point on, we've been very active. We have several, right now this year we have 120 members, but we've been up almost to 200 at times and more. So ebbs and flows.
Well, I think everybody's experiencing that a little bit with not being able to have meetings. When you have meetings, I believe that people want to know what's going to go on, and when you're not having meetings, that makes a problem, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Some people just don't really want to commit to being a part of it. We're going to start Zooming our meetings, and so some of the ladies are afraid to do that. We're trying to convince them to get into smaller groups and Zoom together, but we'll see. We're working on them.
Well, do you know what? This whole change to technologies is being a change for everybody, not just us and not just the quilters. Our communication link, it seems to me, is online some way.
Yes, and when I took on the position of president last year, I never dreamed of how much I would have to learn, because I haven't done any of this either. And so Zoom, I had never even heard of, and now I'm Zooming. So I don't know. And then we have tried Facebook Live too, so that our members at home can kind of get the feeling of being in our meetings without being at the meeting. And actually, it's been kind of fun. But there too, technology comes into play, and you can't hear anybody very well outside. So we're still working on sound.
Well, I know your guild is a very active guild. I think I came and judged your quilt show a number of years ago. So tell us about your quilt show, and also then let's talk about the charity quilts that you make.
We have a lot of fun with our quilt shows. We try to bring in outside exhibits depending on what the theme is. Last year, 2019, it was Out of This World. So we had asked the local astronomy club to have a booth, and they set their things up. And we also had a traveling
From
NASA, the NASA exhibit. We also had some of those quilts, and a couple of our members had quilts in that traveling show. So that was kind of exciting. We have our shows every other year, usually in May. Right now, like many other guilds, we're probably wondering, will we have one next May? And we'll wait and see. The theme for next year is amazing threads, and the committee has thought we could actually set the quilts up in a maze to avoid the back and forth and make it a little bit more spaced out.
Well, that sounds like fun. Amazing quilts, huh?
Amazing threads. So then that brings in different thread techniques and art quilts, a lot of fun things.
And one of the things we do for our quilt shows is we have started doing banner challenges, and everyone in the guild is invited to make a 6-inch by 40 or 42-inch quilt according to the theme. Next year's theme is flowers, and so this is one of the examples. And what we do is we have the alphabet of flowers, and they'll be all lined up in one row. And this is fuchsia. And so that is always breathtaking to see all of them lined up. And they're small, so everybody can get one done. One year it was color. And so we had all the colors of the rainbow, and they were all lined up, and you could just go down, and we usually have multiples of each color because of our membership.
What
Another-
a clever idea, and that has to make a really interesting entrance to your quilt show then, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
And one year we did the 4 seasons. So this was colors for summer. And so it could be anything as long as it was in that season of the year. So a lot of people had a lot of great ideas. The first time we did a challenge, it wasn't a banner, it was a 6-inch square. And we did it for our 30th anniversary as a guild. And the member who thought it up decided it had to have 30 on it somewhere. And it needed to be something recycled. So I had a few ideas, and one was, you know, the sour cream lids. A lot of the sour creams have. That was a recycle, 30 buttons. Pop cans and dog cans make a pretty flower, the flip tops. Your milk rings from your jugs.
Oh gosh, yes.
Double wedding ring. And then the rubber bands from your broccoli make a pretty flower. And then everybody's got green toothpicks, right?
What a great idea. I bet some other guilds will pick that idea up.
It is so much fun to have a small project that you can just let your imagination go everywhere.
Well, Sylvia, can you tell us then a little bit about the charity work that your guild does? Because I know you make a lot of quilts.
We do. We have made quilts for any organization in town that comes to us and wants a raffle quilt. We have done quilts for the cancer patients in our hospitals, neonatal. That's one of our specialties, where we make the quilts for the preemies, and then they can take that quilt home. I actually have a granddaughter who had one, and so it's pretty amazing. We do pillowcases. Some of our members crochet, so we have crocheted items. Let's see. Oh, we have done a quilt class.
Yes. We work through the continuing education, senior, it's through
The
our
adult
Rockford
education
Community
program?
College. And yeah, so we, have a senior program, and we do like right now it's not, but I think we do like 2 semesters a year or so, and we get it a full class of 12 people for all of those. So it's a fun 4-week class that gives seniors, anybody, an idea of what to do, what quilting is all about. And we invite them to our meetings then too. And so we've had some new members from that, but I think it's, our mission is to educate about quilting. So that is the way we fulfill one of those, duties of teaching people. And
I'd like to jump back to different groups in your community who request quilts from you. I think a lot of times people don't have any idea how long it takes for us to make a quilt blocks and then put it together to make a top and then to get it quilted. And I understand that you had one group who thought you could do that in 2 months' time.
Yes. Yeah, we offer once a year, we take people that are looking to do some sort of a charity project and raffle. And so in order for them to raise money, they can then request a quilt from us. And we did have to turn one down last year because they put it in like 2 months before they were going to raffle it. And there was no way we were going to be able to finish that. So we have not heard from them, but hopefully they'll be, although they might not even be doing it because of what's happening for this year. But we did say, give us more time and we'll make another one for next, make it for next year. So
And
we're
so
waiting.
what kind of a time frame do you need to have? Because other people may watch this and they'd like to know that as well.
I think on the contract, doesn't it at least 6 months? they have to give us 6 months before they have to start raffling it, which then is actually, even longer, maybe 9 months for them in relation to they have to sell tickets too. So we kind of explain that to them at the time of how much 6 months before when you need it is what we need. So if you need it 2 months before your function, then you need to ask us sooner.
Well, that's a great program that you do for your community, and that
Yeah.
lets other people then be able to take a quilt and raffle it off and earn funds with it.
Yeah, and this year, especially because we didn't make any quilt last year. We did we meet at one of the local churches in Rockford, and we did then give them a charity quilt that they may raffle or do what they want to do with it. So we did make one to give for them to do a fundraiser with.
Can you tell us about that pretty quilt that's hanging behind you?
Oh, this is our raffle quilt for next year. And like I said, depending on whether we have our show next year or not, it just needs to be bound. It's hot off the long arm. And as always, it's a group thing, and committee members put the patterns in bags and the fabrics and hand them out to the members. So it's fascinating to me that it comes together so well because we all have our different styles.
Well, and with your theme being amazing threads for next year, that border kind of gives you that vision of walking through a maze, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. I made we all did. We all made a few of the blocks, and I remember making the border blocks. I did not know it would look like that. So I was amazed at what it looked like from what I made of 2 blocks. That is not what I expected the border to look like. And as I'm looking at the Zoom picture, it's like really cool.
Yeah, it really leads your eye right around the quilt, doesn't it? Well,
Yes.
We're going to take just a minute. Handy Quilter is the sponsor for this program, and we're going to take just a minute for Handy Quilter to say a word to you.
Hello, Illinois. I'm Kim Sandberg, Handy Quilter Studio Educator. As part of Bonnie's Guild Buzz, we're offering our quilting friends in Illinois a special Handy Quilter Watch and Learn discount on the Swag Ruler set and the Surefoot, good through this Sunday, October 18th. Mention Guild Buzz IL at your local participating Handy Quilter retailer, or shop online at handyquilter.com and enter the code GuildBuzzIL at checkout to get this great deal. If you're watching this video after this offer expires, stop by handyquilter.com for the latest in long arm education and inspiration. We'd love to see you.
Now, your guild has done something that's totally unique in that a few years ago you chartered a plane to come to the Paducah show. Tell us about that.
We did. We have a member whose husband is a pilot, and she had this dream that we should be able to fly to Paducah for the day. And she worked tirelessly, I don't know how many years, to amass a mailing list and to liaison with the airports. And she was able to bring this together. And in 2010, she was able to charter 1 plane each for 3 days. And we were able to fly down in the morning and an hour later get there, go to the show, fly home, and we're home in an hour. And it was so fantastic. And just seems like something we should be able to do all the time, but it was a lot of hard work.
We actually tried to do it. We did do it again, 2016. And I wasn't able to go to the first one, but I did go on the second one. It was the most exciting experience because I have never been able to go down to Paducah for that. It's kind of a long process to get down there overnight and everything, and to be able to go down and just shop. So I wasn't a part of the organization, but I did spend a lot of money.
Well, and how many people could go on that plane? You had 3 different planes, right? Three days.
I think she had almost 100 people on each flight for the original one. And in conjunction with that, it was also tied into the fact that we gave our airport a quilt to hang on their wall. And when we presented that quilt to them, this member also came up with the idea, a challenge of window seat, please. And so she had us make pictures of what we would see outside the window of our airplane. And what was fascinating, and then she made frames around it out of fabric to look like the airplane wall, kind of a beige color. And we had 2 long rows of these pictures in their airplane window frames at the airport. So as you strolled down the 2 of them, you felt like you were in an airplane looking out the windows at a different scene. And that was amazing to be. I mean, we just thought it was something else, something nobody had ever thought about. And when we got down to Barkley Airport, they were so thrilled to have us that they gave us a pin, and they just couldn't. These were our badges that we wore, and they just couldn't be nice enough, and they were thrilled to have us. So of course, what we had to do was the following year, we went down to Barkley Airport, we went to Paducah, and we presented them with a quilt. And this was also designed by that same member, and she designed an aviation type map. So when pilots look at maps to go somewhere, it's kind of the same layout. So it kind of shows the geography, and it shows where the airports are. So we presented them with a quilt, and we had hoped to get it in the newspaper or on the TV that year, but that's when Paducah had the huge flood. So that kind of changed everything.
Yes, I remember that. We did change everything. We moved the entire show in 2 days.
Yeah, everybody was just crazy trying to work around that. So it was kind of a quiet little celebration that we had at Barkley Airport, but we just so appreciated all that they had done for us. And we were thrilled to be able to go back again in 2016.
Yeah.
And I wish we could do it again, but it just seems like the logistics of it. Somebody's got to invent something new to be able to do that.
And actually, Barkley was almost trying to figure out how they could do it to more areas too. At one point, we were talking with them that they were going to take it over and try to organize and help us do that. But it's a
lot of work.
It's hard to get the price low enough that people could really afford it. So
sure. Well, for you all, it certainly had to be fun to leave the driving to somebody else, and you got to be here the whole day.
Yes, very much so.
Because from our area, it's good 8-hour drive. Yeah, it's not a day trip, and this was a wonderful day trip.
Well, let's move on and talk a little bit about what you're doing now. I believe, Bonnie, you told me that you've done a parking lot meeting or so.
Well, the summer has been so beautiful that we decided we've got to meet. So come June, we didn't meet for the first 3 months, but then come June, we couldn't stand it anymore, and we had to get together. So we started meeting outside in our church's parking lot. They offered to let us use the parking lot then instead. So we started doing an afternoon and an evening meeting again, and we were all just outside. And we had our business meeting. That's where the sound issues were a little hard. And I decided, in order to give those members that didn't feel comfortable coming to the parking lot meeting either, we decided to give Facebook Live a whirl. And it actually, it's kind of fun. You can't really hear what's going on, but you sure can see it. And so especially show and tell was a lot of fun to watch. Everybody loved to see all of the different quilts and stuff that in projects that people have been making through COVID. So we've been doing that now for the whole summer, and we really didn't have any problems, maybe some wind problems with quilts flying across the parking lot, but that's okay. And then October coming up, next Thursday is our next meeting. We are going to do an afternoon meeting in the parking lot as our one last time. It's going to be a little chilly, but we'll, just put our jackets on now. And as it's evolved, people are sitting in their cars. We have the tailgate open, and we're sitting in front of that. So I have enjoyed it. So I think it's something that we're going to start doing. I've put it out to the membership that next year we'll do a real tailgate party, and get together as our meeting outside again, because it is beautiful to be outside rather than in a basement during the summer. So.
It seems like we need to come up with a new title like Quilt Gate or something like that for that,
Yes.
shouldn't it?
We'll have to figure that out, because I would like to do that. And the membership they've really enjoyed it, and it's kind of nice. We all bring our lawn chairs, and we have cup holders on our lawn chairs, and we have our beverages, and we don't have any food, but I hope next year we'll be able to even have food. So. And now this coming month, next Thursday, and I'm equally nervous because I've not handled the Zoom meeting for very many people, but we do have our first speaker that will give a presentation then to the whole guild via Zoom. Okay. So this will be the first speaker we would have had since February, and we are so wanting a speaker. So.
Well, and I know the teachers are gearing up for that too. They want to work as well, and to be able to be back out there teaching and conversing with the quilters. I think we all want that, to be able to be together again, don't we?
Yes. Absolutely. Because to me, quilting is social. We don't get together just to quilt. We get together to be together. And we really are missing the social part of our quilting journey, so to speak. So anyway, I'm looking forward to it. And I did do a Zoom. I was invited to a Zoom lecture through one of our guild members who does Zoom meeting. She is on the network that where you can pick out the global connections. She had a test run and to put her video into the Global Connections, and she invited me so that I could get a feel of what they're like, and I did like it. She had given a presentation last year to us, and when we're in the basement, it's kind of dark. We have poles in the way. We have all kinds of stuff in the way, and it gave that lecture a totally different view. I really got a lot more out of it actually in the Zoom version. So.
Well, that's great. All right, so
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you'd like to tell us about your guild?
Well, in past years, one of the things we did every year was we had a sew-in for soldiers, and we made stockings, and we stuffed them and sent those off to the troops. And obviously we don't do that as much now, but we've always tried to take up something in the community, and we've always tried to get everybody to participate in the guild. And I just hope that our guild is a place that people do enjoy coming and sharing. I think that a smaller guild like ours, that's what it's all about, is just being able to share what you've been doing. And I always tell people that I don't know everything. I've just made that mistake before, and I can show you how not to. And I think that kind of sums up the philosophy of a lot of us in this guild. We'll help you get over that hump, and you don't have to do that ripping.
Right. Well, now I told you that the Handy Quilter is sponsoring this show, and Handy Quilter is giving away an HQ 710 sewing machine. And to be able to register for that, you need to go to quiltweek.com/guildbuzz. Just all the words, the GUILDBUZZ, all run together. Again, that's quiltweek.com/guildbuzz. And you'll find a form there you'll find a big register button for you to click. We also, while you're there, would like to have you fill out the short survey. Right now we're doing a survey on online classes. And if you are not yet a member of AQS, there's a button for you to be able to join AQS, and there's a special promotion for you right now. For $20, you get a year's membership, and that includes 6 issues of American Quilter magazine, and you get a free gift and a $20 coupon to use on Shop AQS. So it costs you $20, you get a $20 coupon, and you can go buy some more fabric, can't you?
Yes.
So again, to do that, you need to make sure that you go to quiltweek.com/guildbuzz and register, fill out the survey, and join AQS. And I want to thank both Bonnie and Sylvia today for joining us and sharing all that information about your very active quilt guild. And for those of you at home, we'll look forward to seeing you again next Wednesday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us.